Hi! So for this video, I'd actually originally planned to talk about makerspaces because I was so excited about them, but since they're kind of lacking the technology, for lack of a better term, I actually decided to go back and spend a little bit more time looking at coding. Um, I really chose coding because all of the students I work with right now have access to coding in one or more ways, but they all complain about being bored with the sites that they have. So I thought I would actually do a little bit of digging and see if there was maybe something that I could put them on. Um, Basically coding, like you can see, I brought up this article because I thought it was so interesting. It was definitely very parent and teacher friendly in language. It's giving instructions to a computer to make something happen. For kids, this generally looks like moving a character or creating a cartoon, something to that end. For adults, it looks like running full programs. It looks like websites and games and social media type of things. But for students, generally, especially the younger students, we're going to stick to what they call block-based, where they just kind of link together the commands and then press a run button. I'm thinking in a classroom, for the most part, this is going to look like an introductory sort of thing. Especially with the second graders I work with, they spend a lot of time just kind of getting familiar with the controls and the different ideas. What can they do with coding? Where this can kind of lead them. But then the one fourth grader that I work with, he actually did a super cool project that I would love to do at some point. They were talking with a Boeing engineer, and it was their job to go on Scratch and create some sort of animation to display their idea for a new Boeing plane, like something they would add to a Boeing plane. So I definitely think that is something we could do with coding in a classroom, is just have kids kind of play around. What would you do with a new Boeing plane? What would you do with a new website? If you could make any cartoon, what would you do? If you had to fix a bridge, how would you go about doing it? And they can kind of play around with the different items of coding and really just get familiar with computers, get familiar with programming, and all sorts of things in general. I actually wanted to do a quick demonstration of two different websites. The first is Tinker, which I think is so fun. This is the Space Quest. Tinker's kind of cool because for the most part, it's free and it allows you to just kind of play. It's really more of like a game for students, but then they take the block, connect it to start, and hit play. And it plays out the scene. And really, a lot of these are pretty simple. You go through lessons, you earn coins, you earn experience. It gives you a lot of directions, and then, because I've played on this one before, if you fail, per se, to get the code right so many times, it'll pop up a little help screen, so the students aren't really left to just flounder. It's not impossible. And they do offer more advanced options, but I love space, so that's why I clicked on Space Quest. And as you go, eventually they get into more complex things. Eventually they get into jumps and turns. This is Codeorg, who is also famous for doing their Hour of Code. I have a lot of students actually say they're bored with Codeorg, and I think it's because some of the things they do are so simple. But one thing I loved about this was that their blocks in this game actually use the cardinal direction. So it kind of links into different standards. You can hook this to so many different units, and it's pretty fun. I mean, a lot of kids love Angry Birds, and you actually have to sit and kind of think about this one, like how many blocks east do I have to go before I go south? And then you run the program. It does move kind of slow, see, and then you crashed into the TNT. And then keep coding, it's not quite right. Overall, there are so many different free websites out there that I was finding that I'm really excited to introduce some of my students to. But coding is pretty much just getting kids introduced to computer programming and software programming and really getting familiar with breaking down specific steps. And I think that could be really useful for a lot of different things in the classroom. It teaches them how to take things one at a time and really like slow down their brains and their thinking. And I mean, it's a pretty fun way for them to relax and wind down. It's also a really great like in between activities. Hey, if you finish your assignment early, go ahead and jump on Codeorg. Overall, I think it is a fantastic way to get students involved with beginning to use computers in a more intricate way than just Googling things on the internet. All right, thanks. Bye.